Right, I am back home following the game against Burnley, and I want to start this video off by giving you an assessment on how I'm currently feeling right now. Now, regards to the recruitment, I understand the challenges the club has, because what's happening is clubs are quoting us a lot of money for players which we're trying to bring in, money which we're not willing to pay because we've got a strict financial plan. I get that and I understand that, but what I don't understand is how a coach is so persistent in playing a system despite not having the correct personnel to play the system. I don't get it. I will never ever get this. Playing that defence, and I knew we were going to do this. Playing a defence of Menji, who's 21, Walters, who's 19, Joe Johnson, 18, 19 years old. That is a very inexperienced defence coming up against a very good Burnley team. Not an average Burnley team, a very, very good Burnley team. But yet we are so persistent in this three at the back system when we don't have the players for it right now. Why don't we change? It frustrates the life out of me watching us, because it's staring at us in the face. It really is. Whether we sign players or not, that's a different conversation. It's clear we need signings. But what's clear to me is that system doesn't work right now until you've got the personnel for it. And why don't we have the personnel for it? Because they're still injured, which we should have addressed before the season started. But we all knew we were going into the season with a unprepared defence, which I've already highlighted. I'm frustrated. Yes, it's first game of the season, but I'm not being funny. I knew this was going to happen. I mentioned this in my match preview. I said if I was a Burnley fan right now, it's the perfect time to play Luton. And that is the reason why. It's clear and obvious. Football isn't a complicated game. It really isn't. But at times I feel like we make it. But let's dig deep. Let's just talk about the game as a whole. Talk about how I was feeling before the game. So I'm just going to be looking at my notes throughout this whole time of this video. Pre-match, not going to lie, I would have been happy with a point. Obviously we didn't get that. I was excited to see the youngsters play. I didn't expect Zach Nelson to start because I thought Clark would be fit, but it looks like he's injured, which makes another problem because we are short of midfielders. And what makes it even more surprising is Zach Nelson started ahead of a very senior pro in Pelly Ruddock who's played over 300 times. So that speaks a lot of volume. It really does. But Zach Nelson, he's got a bright future ahead. He's got an opportunity this season according to Rob Edwards, and it's clear that he's sticking to his word, because he said he was going to play the youngsters this season, and he's playing Joe Johnson and Zach Nelson from the very first game. What were my thoughts on the first half? I thought we were slow, we were predictable, lack of movement, lack of communication. Burnley were their positives. Out of possession was brilliant. Their balls for the goals, it was two fantastic balls over the top. The first goal, Zach Nelson was at fault. He lost his man. And then the offside trap, we allowed Brownhill to stay onside. Good finish, but it was a really good ball over the top. But Zach Nelson should be a lot closer to his man. The second goal for Burnley in the first half, the player ran from inside his own half, beat Joe Johnson for pace and Menji as well, and scored. He was very good. I forgot his name. I know Burnley fans will probably tell me in the comments, but a lot of their attackers I thought worked extremely well together, and out of possession they were so well organised. I mentioned this. I said Burnley are one of the best teams in this division defensively, and it showed tonight. We struggled to create opportunities. We did struggle, but I do think we were below par today, way below par. But I felt they used their pace. well throughout the half. In fact, they used their pace well throughout the whole game. They didn't have to sprint, they didn't have to use all their energy up, they used it in good moments. And the moments they did use it, they took advantage of us and scored goals. It was very, very, very good performance from Burnley. Probably going to be one of the best performances of the season for them, even though it's the first game of the season. And regards to Luton, ball watching, lack of leadership. We didn't even get into first gear. Oh, I'm out of focus. Yeah, we just simply didn't get into first gear. Second half. I'm still out of focus, aren't I? Let me get us back. Now I'm back in focus. Let's carry on. Second half. There was a little bit of more urgency. The first 3 minutes of the second half, we hit the bar. Trafford, for me, still hasn't learnt from last season about his ability to command the box. Him, for me, is Burnley's weak link, in my opinion. He needs to get better at commanding his area. I know he's young, still got a lot to learn, but he really needs to work on it. If he works on his weaknesses, he's a future England #1. But right now, I can see him copying what Ramsdale's currently doing. I think he will get a bigger move at some point, but then I think he'll fade away again if he does not work on his weaknesses. That's just my view on him. But then, we could have gone 3-0 down straight after that. Before we even scored our goal to make it 2-1, Burnley could have easily have made it 3-0. They hit the post. I think Thomas Kaminski made a really good save as well to stop it from being 3-0. But then, we did get our goal. Yet again, Baptiste. If you guys watched the Celta Vigo game, Baptiste put in a fantastic ball to the back post, and then we end up scoring. Same again here. Baptiste, ball to the back post. Doughty headed back across goal, and Chong was simply there to tap it home. Good that Chong has got his first goal of the season. He's off and running. Obviously Alfie getting an assist, and Baptiste with the ball over the top. I feel like that looks like it's been worked on in the training ground, that routine, because I've already seen it twice in the last 2 games. But then things still go worse for us. Third goal, poor marking from the corner. I think the boys would be very disappointed in that goal in particular, a lot more. But then when you go 3-0, well 3-1 down at that point, you should be making substitutions. Why does Rob Edwards not make any subs? Why did it take so long? Surely at 3-1 down at home, that is just warning signs to make substitutions, to change things, change the tactical side of things. No. I thought it was an absolute disgrace that Joe Taylor didn't come on today. And then the fourth goal was the worst one for me out of all the goals. It was embarrassing. The Burnley player was allowed to pick up the ball and just run through us, through the middle. And the one thing last season was we were not aggressive, we weren't ruthless. We were one of the few teams that didn't even get a single red card last season, in the Premier League last year. Someone should have taken him out. No one took him out. They all just left him, allowed him to run through the middle. And then it was a great finish for the goal. It was the worst goal for me. It was embarrassing to concede a goal like that. You should not be conceding a goal like that at all levels of football. Disgrace. It was quality from the Burnley player, but you should not be allowing a player to run through the middle and just allowing him, and just doing this, allowing him to run past you. No, you take him out. Take him out and take a yellow for the team. We didn't do that. So, yeah. Late subs. Townsend looked good when he came on, but by that point it was too late anyway, because I think as soon as he came on, 30 seconds later they scored the 4th, so yeah. Those are my thoughts. I'm not picking a man of the match today because too many were poor, below par performance. I didn't like what I saw out there. And the thing is, we may say it gets easier. Oh, we've got Portsmouth away on the weekend. Portsmouth are not a pushover. First game back in the Championship for many years. It's going to be difficult. Their fans are going to be supporting them. They want to be staying up. They went to Leeds, a tough place to go, and got a draw. Scored 3 goals. We don't address our defence. We don't address this midfield, which we've had problems with since the start of pre-season. We will continue to have these problems. We have to address it fast. Now, it may sound like I'm being over dramatic, but if we're a team which Rob Edwards has said wants promotion, every game counts. The more games you drop points, the worse it gets. need to sort it out. Need a reaction for Saturday. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow.